How's it going, folks? Robbie, welcome back to the channel, back on Forza Horizon 5. Today we're going to, well, I've just been cruising around the map in an old RX-7 and I've come across a car I haven't got yet, the Hyundai i20N, so I'm going to buy it right now and then we're going to go take it for a drive and then we'll do some upgrades to it. All right, we finally got the i20, just found it sitting here in the middle of nowhere, so we're going to take it for a drive and do some little bit of upgrades to it. And like I did in my video the other day where I was driving around the Porsche 968, this is going to be more of a trimmed down kind of a Purist build, just enhancing the car a little bit to make it to the point where I like it. This isn't going to be to the top of the class. This isn't going to be a racing car for online, leaderboard car, nothing like that. Not a time attack car. Just going to do some small upgrades to it and improve it and make it to the point where I like driving it. Now, I always quite like these cars. I took one for a test drive in the real world a few years ago. It was a pretty nice car to drive. Sounds really good. The quality was a lot better than I was expecting for a Hyundai, but I just don't like the end colours for these cars. That's one of the things we're going to change. So where exactly are we? Obviously, winter time has arrived, so we are. Everything is white now. Now, I've got one complaint. Is just quickly the snow effects in this game. Driving around in the snow, it's a bit disappointing. Sure, it's a bit slippery, but yeah, the snow effects and the particles was better in Horizon 4. I don't know why they've done that down. I really don't like the fact that they've taken the snow off the roads. I like the look of it. It was more realistic looking on Horizon 4, driving around England and Scotland with snow on the roads. I know a lot of people complained about it for 1 week in a month when we had winter, but I kind of miss the aesthetic and the look of it when we had the snow on the roads, so that's a little bit disappointing, but maybe Japan's got the world's most efficient road cleaning systems. Who knows? All right, so already the car doesn't sound too bad. I don't like the shape of the headlights though, but yeah, like I said, the first thing we're going to change, we're going to get rid of the headlights. So we're over near my favorite place in the map. So we're going to go for a quick lap around here. I don't really usually come down this way, so I'm not used to coming onto the track this way. I usually enter by the little slip road over there on the dirt road. So we're playing offline, so the track is ours. So no monstrosity X-Class cars zooming around at impossible speeds. It's not often I come here at night, and with the snow, it's quite pretty. I'd love a future update where they bring in more of these time attack tracks, just build more. You know, we've got a few, 3 or 4, which is really good. I don't usually go to the drift one often because it's a little bit too compact to really get cracking with good car builds. It's not too bad for lower class D and C class, but anything above it's a bit too small. I'd love if they brought more in, and helps if I concentrate on where I'm going. It's getting distracted looking at all the white stuff everywhere. Yeah, so some more of those around the map would be really, really cool. The other thing I was doing earlier on social media, I was just browsing videos and I saw a bunch of people put up videos, you know, all their little complaints and things I don't like about Horizon 6, and it did get me thinking, so maybe I might compile a list of things that, not that I hate, I don't really hate anything in the game, I quite enjoy the game. I missed a checkpoint. Yep, I will just keep going, who cares. Yeah, there's certain things obviously that annoy me and I wish they'd change, but I think that's just the way we've got to expect it. Playground games is playground games. Doesn't mean we have to accept it and love it, but we can voice our opinion. But maybe I'll compile a list and make a little video on that over the weekend. We'll see how we go. But for now, we'll focus on this little car. Drives well for a front-wheel drive car. He's got pretty good grip. You know, I'm not driving the greatest, as you've been watching, but doesn't make a bad sound. Maybe we can get a bit more noise out of it when we're driving it. The one I test drove, especially when you let your foot off the throttle, all you're hearing is pops and cracks from the exhaust pipe. It's a pretty cool little car to drive. I mean, I only drove it for about 10 minutes, but I had a little bit of fun driving it at the time. And then after that, I drove over to Renault and took a new Megane RS for a test drive, and I really liked that one. This is just before COVID hit from memory in Australia, and just around that time is when the banks stopped doing loans because of all the lockdowns. And I had a deposit down on the Renault, the Megane RS, and yeah, once the banks shut down, basically that was it. Lost the car, and well, here we go. but she drives pretty good. So, yeah, like the Porsche I did the other day, this isn't going to be a full-on ridiculous build. It's just me literally going to be putting on a few parts, a little bit extra power, then I'm going to tune it and adjust it to where I like it, just so it's a fun little kind of a track sort of car. Well, no ridiculous aero, not going to do massive overhaul. I still want it to look the same. Probably going to change the color though. I don't know to what, but I really don't like I really don't like the light blue they use, especially with the red and the black trim. It does not suit me at all. Alright, so this hasn't been the greatest lap, but this is just to get an idea what the car feels like and how we can improve it. And that just random lap put me at 42.19 in the world. And obviously the leaderboards here at Hokubu, however you pronounce it, have reset. So I think last night I was mucking around in a car and I got into the top 400 and I wasn't even trying. So clearly they just reset the leaderboards, because there's no way I'm getting up that high on pretty much a stock car. All right, so let's get to work. Well, actually, out of curiosity, what liveries are there? I don't want anything too crazy. I want it to still look like a road car, but even their racing car liveries, I really don't like them. I mean, Hyundai's made a massive effort compared to what they used to be like with their road cars. The quality, they're a lot more fun. But yeah, the coloring's just horrible. Can I just change the base color, or is it just... I think these M cars... Okay, you can. I can't remember. So you can change them. See, already that's an improvement. Yep, that looks better already. Yeah, no, I'm going to go to red one. That way, it's just the red and the black trim. I quite like that. All right, we'll do that. Boom, too easy. All right, so let's get to work putting on some parts. So like the Porsche the other day, this probably won't end up being built to the top of like A class or B class. Definitely won't be B class by the time we put the stuff on. It could literally stop anywhere. Doesn't really matter. Once I'm happy with the power and what it looks like, we're good to go. Wow. There's a lot of body kit options for this car. I am amazed. The Hyundai gets all this, but other cars get nothing. Okay. So clearly, I wish there was this many options to every single car. They are so lazy, this company. Let's put that one on. What? It doesn't make a difference. We've got a couple of wings. It's just, that does nothing. It just... Although, while the new wing we got for all sedans and all that, the swan neck it looks okay, not great. I don't mind the look of the new wing we got now for hatchbacks. It's much better than the monstrosity we got. But in 2026, how the f do we not have customization for like Gran Turismo 7? You can choose the height of it, the shape of it, the style of it. Why can't we do it in this game? It is just... That is probably my biggest complaint, is the customization is pathetic. So yeah, I don't want it looking too racy. So yeah, I mean, not really going to look, but that kind of angles up a bit better. Can't change the exhaust pipe because it's not the game for that. And yeah, we'll just start that one. Like, it doesn't make the car go much faster. Might reduce drag a fraction. So for wheels, tires, going to keep it fairly basic. We're not going to be going... Okay, it's already got sport tires on it, so the next one up, semi-slicks. Not going to put them on. I don't want the car too grippy. Like the Porsche I was driving the other day, I don't want it to be incredible. 325 front wheel tires. I was curious to see how fat they go, because there's so many options. Yeah, I don't want it too grippy. I don't mind if it dances around a little bit in the corners. It's just I want to improve it a little bit. I'm going to go 255s, and I'll go a little bit... Maybe a little bit... Oh, that's 275. We'll go 255 all around, whatever. For wheels, I'll just go my usual blacked out ones. That'll do. Drops a little bit of weight. Kind of gives it a bit of a sporty look. And I will increase the tire width a little bit. Doesn't make a massive difference, but it can help your corner a little bit better. Keeps the car a little bit more balanced. So I'm going to go race transmission because I want to adjust... Oh, actually, I'll go sport. Only because most of the time I only want to change the final drive ratio. I don't really... If I'm doing a proper build where I'm actually trying to get really, really good leaderboard times, I'll get the racing gearbox, see if I can fit it in with the PI. But for the most part, just lower just the gear ratios at the end of the final drive. You usually get good results. I'm going to go race brakes, race suspension. purely so I can adjust stuff. We'll put on the anti-roll bars, which is really, really important. And the car is already super light, so we don't really need to take out, we don't want it under a ton. It's already light. Let's just take out the sport weight. 95 kilos, just that'll do. And a little bit of power. These things already got pretty good power, 201. I could have sworn these made more power in the real world. Anyway, clearly I'm wrong. Alright, we're going to go to the race, not so much for the sound, purely for the fact that it takes out a little bit of weight as you go. Sounds like a chainsaw. Alright, well, I could have sworn these are like 270 horsepower. Anyway, that must be a different model. Maybe it's the nuance is probably the first gen i20 sorry. I can't remember. I don't remember every single car that's ever been released. So I'll get it up to around the 300 horsepower mark. I'm not going to worry about cams or anything like that. We should be able to get close to it just by this stuff. 287. Let's get on the fuel system. 302. Boom, done. I'm happy. We're stopping at A681 because why not? All right, so now we'll head back to the track. We'll take it for a drive. I imagine in its current state there could be some understeer problems. Already with the wheels, it sits a bit better, and the change of the color, it changes the car completely. It's amazing what a different color can have a different effect on a car. It's just a shame we can't change the tail lights, some aftermarket lights to get rid of that style and maybe darken them up a little bit, might blend it in a little bit better. All right, so let's head back to the track. Do a lap or two, get a feel for what it drives like. Just drag this, get a rake out and drag some snow onto the road. That's all you got to do. Hang on, in reverse. I've got one of those, bought it recently, new controller. I can't remember what the name of it is. I'm getting old, I can't see. But it's got all a bunch. It's one of the elite Xbox controllers. Not a Microsoft one, it's another company makes it, but there's a bunch of buttons on the back. And every now and then you bump it and just random shit happens. So you got to be really careful not to, you got to grip the controller nicely, but not to the point where you're going to be hitting the buttons at the back. You can be driving and all of a sudden you're in reverse and it's not good. Alright, don't have to look on the track because we're in offline mode. Alright, let's go see what I can do. One thing that still shits me, I found another thing I don't like about this game. When you're doing this time attack and if you stuff up and oh no, I've missed my corner, you can just hit rewind and you don't get flagged for it. It's not like Rivals. So you can just drive around, hit and rewind and get the perfect lap and there's no consequences. I don't like that. They need to patch that shit out really, really quickly. I want it like Rivals where anyone that does any shortcuts or cheats gets, their lap gets flagged. Or a little bit of understeer. You can feel the tyres screeching a little bit under there. They were vibrating. They weren't happy with that. So yeah, a little bit of gearbox will fix that out. But the biggest one to fix that will be the diff. And already she shifts her weight pretty good through the slalom back there. Obviously, what are the standard? Alright, so I'd be lowering those a little bit, maybe to about 1.8, 1.9 for both. Gearing is 250 down the back straight. We're not hitting that. So next time around, we'll figure out what the top speed is, because that way you can adjust your final drive. Because the way I like to adjust it for every race I do is I'd like to have it on the longest straight, just be almost redlining by the end of the straight. Well, we can lower that already. This is a pretty flat track. I usually just go one above just in case. Brakes I'll adjust later. That needs some work. Yeah. All right. So, yeah. That's one thing that also shits me about this game. When you pause it and make adjustments, unlike previous games, it makes you come to a complete bloody full stop. It's a little thing, but yeah, I just don't like it. I keep it the way it was. All right, let's do one flying lap. Trying our best to keep it clean, push the track limits where we can. Oh, I felt like it was going out a little bit then. It was just me. Took the wrong line a little bit and ran a little bit wide, but we saved it. All right, on the brakes. See, I haven't adjusted the brakes. It's completely standard. A little bit of understeer as we're trying to pull all that power down. Again, there's a little bit there as well. Alright, so we're going to get about 200 clicks down here. Just a little over 200. Alright, so we can adjust the gearbox. I think I just missed that. I did. We'll go back. Alright, again, I'm not trying to set leaderboard times here. I know I sound like a hypocrite by talking about the rewind, but let's just go. We managed to hold it a little bit. Let's get it to the last corner. To me, this is the trickiest corner. This is the one I usually lose time in. Oh, front wheel drive car. Doesn't like that one. I could feel the understeer kicking in. 59.3. That's a bit of an improvement over the last time we come around. Obviously, it was stock standard, but not bad. So I'm going to make some adjustments now to the tune, and I'll tinker around a bit. I'm no expert. I'll just fiddle around until I'm happy, and then I'll show you the result. Alright, after a few minutes of testing, we're back here with the Hyundai chainsaw. She pops along nicely. Made a couple of adjustments. We'll go tune it up and test it out now. I've lowered the tire pressure down a little bit. Gear ratio, I've shrunk that down. I'm going to fine tune that as we go because we might be able to shrink that down a little bit just to get as much acceleration between the corners as possible. Alignment, pretty standard. I usually just kind of have a base tune I usually go with. Anti-roll bars, I usually, for front-wheel drive cars, I usually make the rear a little bit stiffer because I was getting a bit of understeer problems. I find with my driving style, if I have the rear a little bit firmer, it usually turns in a little bit better. We'll find out if I'm talking crap if it actually works. Ride height, lowered it. Springs, soften them up a little bit. Damping, as you can see, again, made the back end a little bit stiffer. Not by much. Again, it could make the car undrivable. I haven't touched the aero. Don't really need it around here. We're not an R class. We don't really need aero problems. We're not having problems with it. We're going fast enough. Brakes, this is my preference. 50-50 balance. I got a little bit more pressure up to 108. 105 to 110 is usually where I have it, and then I adjust it. If I think the brakes are biting too much, then I'll lower it. And the diff 40 and 8, we're going to try that out. Hopefully that lowers the... Yeah, we'll see how we go. See if that lowers some of that understeer problems we'll have having. So let's go do a quick lap. The sun is now out. We're also online now, so just to see if we can spot anyone crashing as we're hovering around. Already with the work on the gearbox, I can already feel this car accelerates a lot better. It's turning in pretty good. See, sometimes, again, this is the kind of builds I usually do, what most people will probably call a purist build, where they keep it fairly standard, but just a few upgrades to enhance it a little bit there. This is usually what I do to all my cars. I do enjoy every now and then building cars up to try and compete with the leaderboards, but I'm nowhere near good enough to compete with those guys and gals at the top of the leaderboard. But I enjoy just getting a car, putting on a couple of upgrades, tuning it around, and then just going for a few hot laps. It's good fun. This is what I do every day. A little bit of understeer around there, but again, probably carrying a little bit too much speed through there. First lap around's a 1 minute, so we're a little bit slower, but that's the first lap. We weren't flying. Oh, I nearly stuffed that up. We lost a little bit of time through there. Lower the throttle a little bit. Alright, we'll keep an eye on the speedo on the back straight this time around. I was a little bit distracted. Brakes, not bad. That was a poor corner though. We can do better than that. I really got to start memorizing roughly what time I should be getting around here for each class of car and try and build to that. Just a little over 200 clicks an hour, so we could probably shrink that down. This is going to make the car come to a complete stop. We're up to 220. Let's drop it just a touch more. 212. Let's see if we hopefully we won't redline, but we'll find out. It's the joys of tinkering with cars and adjusting stuff as you're going. Having spent many hours driving around this track with various cars in the last few weeks since we got this game, it is pretty cool getting to see it change with every season. I quite like the look of the track and the feel you get in the winter time. But it's going to be a few more weeks until we get it, so by the time it comes back around. Gonna forget it because I'm old. Alright, that's a bit smoother through there. The car's quite steady. It feels quite balanced through the corners. I mean, you saw the tune before as I was flicking through it. Just copy it down and see how it goes for you. Obviously, all our driving styles are different, so what works for me might not work for everyone. My driving style is a bit chaotic at times. Can be a little bit aggressive. I have problems concentrating lap after lap. I mean, I could have put a racing gearbox on and really gone to work with every gear, but I'm not really noticing anything drastic. I don't think you're going to shave too much time fine-tuning every gear. 59.2. All right, we just set a new lap record for this car. In my experience playing racing games, especially the Forza series, even like Gran Turismo, playing online, I tend to have the best races with the lower class cars. Because a lot of people just cannot handle the high-powered cars, and I admit I'm one of them. I don't mind driving them around and testing them, but full-on racing, I find the racing's far more competitive, and even if everyone's in slower cars. Because I remember back on Forza Motorsport 4 days, the best races online were in those little budget city cars, those tiny little hatchbacks. That was so much fun driving around those tracks in those cars online. But yeah, I did some online racing on Horizon 6 the other night, and I realized why I fucking hate driving online in Forza. It's just crashing over and over, and it drives me absolutely crazy. 58.9, we got into the 58s. We just missed the checkpoint, didn't we? We did. We'll keep going. Well, gearbox feels good, even down the back straight. We weren't redlining, so I think I've got it to the point where I'm happy, even just adjusting a couple of things here and there. Brakes feel good. I mean, I could probably lower them a little bit, but I'm not really getting too much understeer out of the corners, as long as you're not going 100% throttle as you're exiting on some of those sharper bends. Down here we're getting just under 210. The gearbox is set up for about 216. That is pretty much spot on. Obviously, when I take this for a drive around the map, I'm going to increase that, so I'm not redlining on every single road. But it drives pretty good. It feels like a nice, fun little track car. I know this is not how everyone usually builds a car, but this is what I prefer to do. Most of my cars eventually are going to be set up as a little Purist build, just where it's just a fun little thing to drive. It's not perfect. It's still got a little bit of flaws here and there. It's not an aggressively grippy car where it's going to be just boring to drive. It's still got a bit of character to it. Because it is possible, especially with a little bit of aero and the right tyres, to completely get rid of understeer in these games. But I find that a little bit boring. I want my cars to have a little bit of character to them, so you're not just feels like you're driving the same car. For 40 or grand, I bought this at a side of the road. There's a bit of time I've made, lost through there, so there's a good half a second at least I can make up. But this has been a pretty good purchase. I'm really enjoying it. I mean, I don't like the look of the lights. I've already said that, but God, it's a lot quieter in the cabin, isn't it? Can't roll down the windows. I used to have a Renault Clio RS200, and that was an awesome little car to drive. But when you lower the windows down, the noise increases. That had a slightly more modified exhaust on it. Made a really good sound. Well, that's what happens when you put your foot down too hard. The front tyres aren't happy. We're asking too much of them. Yeah, and that's what happens when you encourage a bit of understeer. You just lose a lot of time. So we just clip the inside of the flag. As long as you don't get flagged illegally and skip in the corner, you can go for it. We probably made up a bit of time. No, we lost time. Well, there you go. That shows you how much I know. Still feel like I'm running wide on the exit of that corner, but there you go. I think, well, at least for my standards, I'm quite happy with that. Let's see where I got that to. It's going to be right down the bottom, but 58.9, I'm happy with that. 51.5. Got beaten by a little Honda City. as a Nissan GTR flies past. We've got the 2300 in the world. Yeah, I'm happy with that. I don't like the sound. That just sounds like a very sick and tired chainsaw that needs a bit of work to it. Oh my god. There's no point using it here because all the trees fall down the second you touch them. They're useless in this game. There's another thing I don't like. The trees. They're pointless. No obstacle now. You can just go off-road through the mountains with no worries as long as you don't find a cherry tree. There's the little Honda. Finally makes its way past. Anyway, I'm going to enter there. I'm Rob. That is the i20. I'm quite happy with that. I'm going to be driving that around for a bit, I think. So until the next one, cheers for watching. I'll see you later.